Welcome back to my channel. My name is Destiny, and in this video I'm going to show you how easy it is to paint and update particle board furniture. Let's get started. I picked up these two matching nightstands from an estate sale for only $10. They're pretty beat up and dirty, so we're going to remove the hardware and get these cleaned. This is all junk in here, so I'm just going to throw this all away. When I bought these nightstands, I did notice there was tape on them, but I didn't realize how much tape was randomly just all over these nightstands. And as I continued to clean and remove the tape, I just kept finding more and more tape. To clean these nightstands, I'm going to use Simple Green, and when I'm done cleaning them, I will go back and rinse with water, but I did not record that. One thing to keep in mind when you are cleaning particle board furniture is to not saturate them too much. You don't want moisture getting into the wood. It's not really wood, but the wood, it will cause it to expand and give you bubbles, and you don't want that. There is quite a bit of damage to the bottom of this nightstand, so I'm just going to use a 120 grit sandpaper just to get it all smooth. I'm going to use Bondo to help even out the surface of that exposed particle board and to help cover it just so it doesn't bubble. I also was not a huge fan of this cutout design on the bottom drawer, so I'm going to use Bondo and fill that in. This was also quite a tedious process. It took about 3 coats to get full coverage of those areas. By the time I was done filling in the first layer on the drawers, the base of the nightstands were ready to go, so I'm just going to sand all that smooth. I'm going to give everything a quick scuff sand with a 220 grit sandpaper. And of course, it's always something I forgot that I wanted to fill in these old hardware holes, so I'm just going to fill those in really quickly and then move on. So I'm going to use a shellac based primer for these nightstands only because there was exposed particle board, and I don't want to use a water-based primer so that it would absorb into that wood and make it bubble or expand. While the bases of the nightstands are drying, I'm just going to go in and sand off this Bondo so that way I can get it ready for another coat to fill in any of the low spots. As I was sanding the drawer fronts down, I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of a decorative trim just to the drawer fronts. So I'm going to measure and do a little bit of cutting. Guys, don't make fun of me, but I've never used a multi-tool before. This was a learning experience. I was struggling, so please just laugh with me and not at me. I changed where I was cutting because I didn't want to accidentally scuff my paint. So that tool just was not working. I could not figure it out, so I'm going to use my jigsaw. But I ended up not liking the jigsaw cut because it just, I don't know, it seemed really rough. And then I watched a video on how to use the multi-tool, and I still just wasn't crazy about it. So I called in for my husband's help. And thankfully he cut all 16 pieces for me. After I got all my pieces cut, or my husband got all the pieces cut, I glued everything down and taped it. And usually I would go ahead and nail this down, but I currently don't have any nails, so this is just going to have to work. But no worries, because these are for my bedroom, so I am not too worried about not having nails. After the glue had dried for several hours, I went ahead and removed the tape. And then I'm going to use the caulk gun to get rid of any large gaps for a seamless finish. The next day, after everything was dried, I went ahead and I finished priming the drawers. Sometimes when you use a spray can, it leaves a little bit of a texture, so I'm just using a 400 grit sanding block just to sand everything smooth. My husband actually chose the color for these nightstands. He chose cracked pepper, and you can pause it for the code. I'm getting my paint mixed up really well because it settles when it sits, and I'm going to load it up in my Wagner Flexio 4000. I am not sponsored, but I absolutely love this sprayer. And as always, I like to practice spray on a piece of cardboard. That way, if my settings are wrong, I'm not messing up on my furniture. And then I don't have to wait for it to dry and sand it back. And once again, when my paint was dry, I went back with a 400 grit sandpaper just to make sure everything was smooth. Because this is a dark color, I'm not going to clean out my spray gun. I'm going to leave any leftover paint that I had in there just to tint my top coat, and it just minimized the streakiness. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. And here is one last look of the before. And here is the after. I am so excited about how these turned out. I think they just look very sleek and modern, especially with that trim that I put on. I think it was the perfect touch. I hope that I earned your subscription today, and don't forget to like and leave a comment. Tell me what you think of these. Every interaction that you make with this video helps my small channel grow. For those who wanted an update on this dresser, I did sell it, and here is the breakdown. The sandpaper and primer cost about $5, paint $10, hardware $12, top coat $5. I did use a lot of wallpaper, which was about $18. In total, I spent about $55 to fix it up, and I sold it for $450, making a profit of $395. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.